this is Muslim Bangladeshi from Pakistan, and you're watching my YouTube channel Hananya Naftali, which aims to invoke a little bit of humanity in all of us through awareness and understanding. So, as I promised that I would make a separate video in regards to my dear younger brother Hananya Naftali. Yes, I do consider him as just like my younger brother. And the things that I'm going to talk about, I am a subscriber to his YouTube channel, and I strongly support what he does. His work is incredible as long as it is Israel centric and it talks about Israel's issues, Israel's how Israel goes about in the struggles of its maintaining its security and peace, and in such a hostile environment that it struggles, and it has been struggling ever since it was declared as an independent state by the Jews, and I do support his work, but definitely, but there is a issue that I feel, and I get the idea at times. Maybe, I don't know, it is because of his personal love for India. By the way, his fiance's name is India, so I'm just assuming, I don't know, maybe she is American born diaspora India, because otherwise I think if I would have a daughter like that, looking like her, I would name her Abigail. I think Abigail suits her. It's a very Jewish name and it's a very beautiful name. Whenever I look at her, India doesn't suit her, Abigail does. And if obviously Hananya is going to Bazarat Hashem very soon marry her, so maybe she, or who knows, maybe her Jewish name is Abigail, who knows, maybe. So I don't know if she is Jewish, but yeah, India has a very weird name. But like I said, he has a lot of Indian subscribers and a lot of support from India. And yeah, if you're a professional YouTuber or influencer and that, you would appreciate that. Although I have never, requested publicly to subscribe or to even watch my video. If you think that I am bullshitting and whatever I say is a bullshit and whatever, and you don't agree with me, I respect you. I respect you. You're using your mind, you're listening to me, and you're saying that I'm bullshit. Thank you very much. You got the time out to listen to whatever I said. I highly appreciate you. You don't have to subscribe to my channel. Of course, the income that would come if after the views and everything would greatly help in a lot of things. Of course, everybody needs money. Definitely, I do too. But yeah, Baruch Hashem, I have 18 years of education. I have a relatively very supportive, amazing family. It's a very short family. Had I had my father alive, my mother would have still supported me if I convert out of Islam, and she actually supported me. And she would have said, this will keep you in a dangerous position, you should go abroad and whatever, but she would have supported me. So I have a supportive family which supports me financially, morally, emotionally, and whatever. And Baruch Hashem for that. I earn my, I don't work now. I used to work, I used to teach. I used to work in the non-governmental organizations, so many of them. I never had a very long-term work commitment anywhere. I worked in the multinational, all sorts of things. So for me, I strongly feel earning money and earning a living is not something that I would sell my soul. I'm not saying that he does. No, nobody. No, don't say that. Don't think that way. But I do not appreciate, or I do not respect, let's just say, I do not respect people who would do anything and everything just to earn a living. I may be wrong. Maybe somebody, oh, you were born into this. No, we have been very, very poor, and I have mentioned that when we had our struggling time, when my father was sick, and we had our own financial issues, there were times that we didn't had anything to eat. But even in that time, my mother said that, if something which makes you feel guilty or takes away your self-respect, or you don't have to do something very immoral or below your dignity just to earn a living. You can live without food, without any, you should have clothes. Without clothes you can, I'm not promoting nudity. Famine is, I have nothing to do with famine, that European. But if they are fighting for feminism, they should ask men to strip rather than they, taking off their shirts. So famine is not my cup of tea. But having said that, okay, you need a little bit of clothes, you need food to survive. But I would not understand how one person would do anything and everything just to get any monetary benefit out of it. That's just how I am. I'm not a millionaire, I'm not a billionaire. I don't want to even intend to become a millionaire or billionaire. Yes, I want to have financial independence and financial freedom, and I think as an educated woman, I feel that I can earn it even if I'm working at a diner, and no job for me is any less. If it's paying your bills, it's a respectful job. Even to the extent that I respect a woman who is a prostitute. If she is saying that I am doing this to put food on my table for me and my kids, and there are people who go to her, I might, judge them for, they're, instead of just helping her out, they're using her for sex. So that sort of a thing would definitely hurt me. But if she's doing that, I think even that thing, in my opinion, is respectful, because she's not begging, she's not deceiving anyone, she's not, she's not doing, although adultery is evil, but the men are going to her. They should be more evil than she, who is vulnerable. Maybe she doesn't have the education, maybe she doesn't have the opportunities, maybe she's forced to do that. Who knows? Coming back to Hananya Naftali. Okay, out of love of India, out of love of his fiance, whatever may the cause be. Pakistan, India have serious geographical issues and enmity. We have fought wars with each other. Pakistan ideally should recognize Israel and should be the last country on this planet Earth to actually oppose Israel or Israel's existence specifically, because the reasons given to create Pakistan were almost similar to the reasons of, given by the Zionists who wanted a state for the Jewish people. Both the countries are formed for the religious, sentiments, out of the religious sentiments that we need a sovereign country where we can freely practice and have a constitution and have a social structure where we can identify with who we are religiously associated with. So, despite having these things, I don't know what is, what is wrong with the brains of these young people. Maybe it's too much of porn that they see, and probably the porn that they see from India, or they are the biggest porn producer, so that I know, and we are the biggest watch. It's so funny, India is the biggest porn producer and Pakistan is the biggest porn watcher. That was a survey actually. So I don't know what's the reason that Pakistanis hate Israel so much, but whatever the reason is, I think it's baseless and one should have a little bit of shame. And now India is on the verge of dismantling and, disassembling Pakistan only to give the Arabs this reason that Pakistan, the Muslim state that the British created, now it is dissolved and it is, merged into India. So why can't you dismantle and, destroy Israel? So Hananya, think about that also. So if you pick up a side, like the Indian side, and when you see, and two of his videos I would put in the description box, and he is targeting Pakistan and saying that, okay, fine, Pakistan is the highly anti-Semitic country in the whole wide world. But if Hananya Naftali comments on that and Indians capitalized and then pinch the Pakistanis, look at this Israeli influencer who hates you so much, and then you hate them so much too, and we only can love Israel and only Israel can love India. What the bullshit is this? I mean, if you are a good friend of Israel, ideally you should be advising Israel and also Pakistan, guys, you are like each other. Why don't you recognize each other and have peace, rather than creating enmity between, or creating more enmity between two already very hostile countries? India should be promoting peace and love and everything. Never have India has promoted or supported Israel on an international stage. When it benefits them, they go on and say, okay, we brokered the Abraham Accord, as if we brokered the UAE and Israel peace agreement. Excuse me? Israel is important for every other country. Every other country. US, UK, France, EU, every country, Ukraine, for India, Israel is like this, if they can't fire nuclear bombs towards Pakistan, they would unleash Hananya Naftali and Hananya Naftali's words and then taunt the Pakistanis. Look at this Israeli influencer, it hates you so much and he is ready to get married to our India. I mean, please, honey, talk about Israeli issues, talk about Israeli international relations. Pakistan is not worth your mention, brother. Pakistan does not recognize Israel because it's a cursed country and it's a curse upon Pakistan. It is a fortunate thing that a cursed country like Pakistan doesn't recognize Israel. If Pakistan would recognize Israel, it will be beneficial for Pakistan solely. Israel doesn't gain from getting the recognition from Pakistan. It is a strong country, it will remain a strong country. It doesn't matter Bangladesh or any other Muslim country or Pakistan or India recognize Israel or not. Israel will be Israel. The technologies, the everything, the military contributions, the intelligence, intelligence, innovation, whatever. It's a great country. America can't live without Israel. EU can't live without Israel. Everyone gains from having good relations with Israel. Everyone. It is in the benefits, and India have benefited not only from the friendship of Israel, but the hatred of Pakistan and Israel. The enmity between Pakistan and Israel has benefited no other country more than India. The enmity itself is a huge gain for India, and it's such a shame that this young Israeli man, which I see, and he is out there supporting and cheering up for Benjamin Netanyahu. Brother, Benjamin Netanyahu have been the strongest, amazing, great. I have been a profound supporter of BB, like I think 2012, 2013, long time ago. And even when I attended the Muslim Jewish conference, I said I support BB. Yeah, such an amazing guy, such an amazing leader. He has done so much for his country, strong, amazing leader. But there is a time for retirement. Hananya Naftali has the full potential to not just remain a social media or YouTube influencer. He can be a politician, a great politician. He can contribute way much more to to Israel by working for its peace, by making alliances. Fine, don't make alliances with Pakistan. Like I said, Pakistan is a cursed country. That's why we don't see the value in recognizing Israel, because it will benefit us. And even if it doesn't benefit us, not everything is for benefits. If we say it's a holy land, it's a third holiest place, then we are denying that. Arabs are living there. Despite the fact that these Arabs, these Palestinians manipulate Pakistanis not to recognize Israel, they still live there. If they hate Israel that much, the Palestinians, why can't they leave the West Bank and go live in Jordan? Why can't they leave Gaza and go live in Egypt? They don't leave that. They don't leave that holy places. They don't, despite we are dying, they are killing us, they are doing this, and they still insist. I have seen first time a nation which is called Palestinians. Actually, they're Arabs, so I call them Palestinian Arabs. The Philistines, the Greek Philistines, they are dead people. They don't exist anymore. So these Arabs, which call themselves Palestinians for I don't know what reasons, they tell the entire world to boycott. Why can't they start with themselves? Why can't they boycott Israel? Let's ask them to boycott Israel and go. They leave. They leave. They say we boycott Israel because they're very racist. First time in the history of humanity, I have seen this nation which complains of racism, hatred, and discrimination, and still insists to live with their oppressors, so-called oppressors. First time in the history of entire humanity where one people or group of people is agitated by some other group of people, but they still insist on living with them. Insist on living with them. First they used to say we will kill everyone and kill every Jew and put them in the sea. Now they say no, we will good to people. We will treat you better. Like Shawn Mendes' song, we will treat you better. We won't kill you. Let's talk about coexisting. Why would you want to live with people who you think are racist and treat you bad? But they tell the entire world to boycott Israel. They have asked us to not recognize Israel, not even visit Israel. But they are living there. Wow. So I mean this double game that these people play, these Palestinians, these Arabs. And my message to the Pakistanis is this: Iran will recognize Israel, Saudi Arabia will recognize Israel, and it will be India suggesting to all these Arabs, look at us, we are taking advantage of these foolish Jews, and we are the most anti-Jewish people. We are pagans. Their religion, our religion, their ideology, our ideology is like A and B, or the polar opposite of each other. We, the pagan Hindus, are polarized and we are on different opposite poles. Yet we are taking advantage of these foolish Jews. Why can't you do the same? I'm sure you do. Mossad or all those intelligence agencies, you do your counter intelligence. I'm pretty sure they have convinced all these Indians have convinced all these Arabs. When you can kill all these, naive Jews with manipulation, lies, and a bit of, manipulation with manipulative love, why use hatred? And that's why I tell this to Pakistanis. In the end, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, Iran, Saudi Arabia, each and every Muslim country will recognize Israel, and they would have their embassies. And all of these Muslim countries would say it was because of Pakistan we were resisting recognizing Israel. It was Pakistan who was telling us not to recognize Israel, and now India has opened our eyes and we have recognized you. So India will become the good guy, and all these Arabs who have fought multiple wars with Israel will become their best buddies, the Jews, and we, the Pakistanis, would be the source of all evil, and they will destroy us. I'm telling you, and I fear for that day that, you know, such lies, and I don't understand that what sort of a evil mindset people or those political strategists would have to have, you know, thoughts like that. You know, it takes a lot of evilness to, you know, propagate such a thing. It reminds me of those, you know, those Nazis and that, you know, Subhash Chandra Bose. I mean, that was, I think, the world's biggest anti-Semite was Subhash Chandra Bose, and of course Gandhi also, and everybody. And by the way, if you ask the Jews, they would love Gandhi. They are the Gandhis. So it's such a, I mean, I wish Hananya Naftali all the best. I wish that he has a political career as well, along with his social media influencer career. But brother, I mean, I can understand you have a relationship with the diaspora India or whatever. I don't know what is. Maybe your fiance is India, but please, I mean, do not talk about India and how great the Indian-Israeli relationship is. Nothing wrong with talking about that, but do not pick a side between India and Pakistan. Do not get into that thing, because that's just not good for Israel. Pakistan should be irrelevant to Israel as long as Pakistan does not recognize Israel. So be that. Have that sensibility, brother. You are a very sensible, sensitive, amazing human being, and you inspire me. Literally, when I make these videos and I talk about issues, you inspire me, and I support you wholeheartedly. But please don't give your valuable time and thoughts just to make the Indians happy and give them a material for their own propaganda, their petty propaganda. To get involved, Pakistan is not worth your time. Do not talk about Pakistan as long as they do not recognize Israel. Pakistan is not worth a mention of any Israeli important figure. May it be, you know, from Hollywood or whatever, or political, or any Israeli shouldn't even mention the pathetic name of Pakistan unless or until Pakistan agrees to recognize Israel. Don't give them that much value. And please do not play in the hands of Indians. They're dangerous people, and I have actually learned this through learning about World War II. So please be careful. I, as an elder sister, I am so happy for you and India. Hope she's Abigail, or she becomes Abigail if she's not Jewish or whatever. Abigail suits her. It's like that name is for her. Anyway, wishing you all the best, all the luck, but please just do not, because you are a big influencer, you have this beautiful identity, Israeli identity. Please give it a thought when you make videos and when you do stuff. Talk about India-Israel relationship and how beautiful that is, and how India can do even more to strengthen that. There's nothing wrong with that. But playing in the hands of Indians, or playing in the hands of your fiance's sentiments towards India just because she had a name India, or I don't know if she's Indian, it's just not good. Yeah, wishing you all the best, but please be careful. Because it just backfires big time. It backfires big time. People who are intellectuals, big time. And Indians, they have this crazy mentality. They would, benefit. They would, try to greed you out of doing things, give you, financial, benefits. Okay, we'll give you a tour there, and Please, don't do that. You're bigger than that, man. You are bigger than that. You're valuable, way much more valuable than these petty propagandas. Wishing you all the best, and I hope you understand what I'm saying. So, thank you.